Hey, I'm a loser. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite movies. And, yeah, yeah. After you've seen the thumbnail, you may be wondering, wait, why in the world are you suddenly reviewing movies from 60 years ago? 65 years ago ish. Why? Well, 4 weeks ago, I went to college and I registered for a class, which is a class where you watch a movie, you hear the professor speak for an hour or so, and then you're gonna watch a movie, and then after the movie, you're gonna have a discussion. And this is the format of every single class session. And the catch is that every single movie that I'm going to watch in this class in this semester are going to be noir films or film noir. And film noir is a really special genre in my opinion. First of all, when we talk about film noir, excluding neo noir, we're mostly talking about films in the 40s, 50s, early 1960s USA. So most of these movies are in black and white, and film noirs are usually detective crime thrillers that involve a lot of mystery and suspense, a la Alfred Hitchcock and Orson Welles. And yeah, usually film noir is realistic, so it doesn't involve anything supernatural, nothing all that crazy. You're not gonna see ghosts and vampires and demons in film noir films, but you're going to see all sorts of villains and people, and sometimes, or actually most of the times, the protagonist is also slightly villainous. Moral ambiguity is a very, very strong and consistent theme in film noir, and it is depicted in all sorts of ways. The lighting with the Venetian blinds and the strong sense of shadows really contribute to this moral ambiguity, and also the depiction of the city being very crowded and oddly shaped like a maze, heavily inspired by German Expressionism and yeah, film noir. So, since I will be watching all of these movies and I like movie reviews, hey, why not? Let's just review some movies that I've seen in college. So the first one we saw is a movie by the name of Detour, which is a movie in the year 1945, and it is directed by Edgar Ulmer. And the plot is really, really simple. This guy is in love with this other woman, and they were living in New York. This woman decided to go to Los Angeles and work in Hollywood. The guy the guy missed her very much, so he decided to hitchhike all the way from New York to Los Angeles. And on the way to Los Angeles, he met this guy who had scars, and this guy is really mysterious. And minor spoiler alert, but the guy actually died. The guy fell asleep, and it was raining, and well, the driver was asleep, and the main character opened the door, and the driver fell onto the ground, hit a rock, and died. And then the main character encountered another woman, and little did he know that the woman is actually was in a relationship with the driver earlier in the movie who died. So things started to complicate because the woman started to believe that the main character killed the guy when he actually kind of did, but by accident. And yeah, that's pretty much just it. Now, as far as movies go, now I don't know how to judge a movie that's from the 40s or the 50s, because movies back then are so different from movies nowadays. So if I use the standards of nowadays movies and compare it to the movies of the old times, it's not gonna work out. Um, but in my honest opinion, I think it's okay. It's a really simple plot. More simple than I would have liked it to be, though I don't mind. I think the characters are pretty forgettable at the end of the day, especially for the female character. There is this tradition in noir films where there will always be a female character who plays, innocent at first, but is actually a very evil, manipulative person. And this kind of female character is called the femme fatale. The femme fatale of Detour is not memorable, like at all. The lighting of this movie is just okay. There is a phone call scene earlier in the movie where the main character calls his girlfriend, and it doesn't feel like a phone call at all because he just rambles on like, "Hi, how are you?" "Oh, I'm fine, thank you." "So where are you going to stay?" "Oh, okay, bye." And there's no space in between each line, so it doesn't feel like a phone call, but that's just a minor complaint. I like the voiceover in this movie. It's very nihilistic and very brutally honest, and it's something that you wouldn't expect from a movie from the 40s. And this movie is more accessible than I thought it would be, so there's that. My enjoyment level of this movie is like a light 7, so I'm just gonna keep it a light 7. Next up, I saw the movie Murder, My Sweet, which is a movie adapted from a novel written by Raymond Chandler, one of the most influential film noir novelists of history, of cinematic history. And this novel is originally called Farewell, My Love, but because back in the days when people see Dick Powell in a movie called Farewell, My Love, they're going to be like, "Oh, it's going to be a musical romance movie." And then they walked in and then they see people getting killed and they're like, "What?" So they had to change the title of the movie. So this movie is directed by Edward Dmytryk, and it is released in the year 1944, and it features Dick Powell as the main character of Philip Marlowe, who is the detective, the hard-boiled detective in most of Raymond Chandler's novels. And Dick Powell was originally a sing and dance guy, so him breaking typecasting to play in this movie is actually pretty interesting. Now, the plot is really convoluted. This hard-boiled detective, Philip Marlowe, I'm going to call him Marlowe. Marlowe sort of received two cases. One case is this really tall guy called Moose wants Marlowe to find his long-lost ex-girlfriend or wife, and she's been lost for 8 years already, so why even bother? Second of all, there's this other guy who wants Marlowe to accompany him to pick up some jewel in the middle of nowhere because he wants to buy this jewel back for a woman. And turns out these two cases are connected, and it gets very, very complicated real soon, very convoluted. Not as convoluted as far as, convoluted movies I've seen, but still convoluted for a movie back in the 40s, And without spoiling much, I think this movie is better than Detour. I enjoyed it even more. There is a lack of depth when it comes to characters. They just feel kind of shallow. When the main villain is revealed, it's just like, okay, why are you a villain anyways? What are your motives? We don't really know. The dialogue is actually really nice. It's actually really witty, especially for the main character, Marlowe. Even though he's always being interrogated and hated, the way he speaks, he's very witty, snappy. He drops one-liners everywhere, just roasting people. There's a pretty trippy dream sequence, expressionist dream sequence in the middle of the movie, which I'm kind of impressed. It's not a bad movie at all. One thing about Detour that I dislike is that for some reason every single scene has music in it. Like, why do you have to put music in every single scene? It just have some silence. As far as music goes in Murder My Sweet, it's slightly better. Still not that great though. And yeah, that's pretty much the movie. Another thing in Murder My Sweet that I'm a little confused about are the cops. The cops always show up, and the cops hate Marlowe, but they never do anything. They just show up and then disappear. They show up and then they disappear. So I'm giving Murder My Sweet a decent 7 out of 10. The third movie I saw is Double Indemnity, also released in 1944. Also released in 1944, also an A picture, because when people go to movies, they would have to watch an A picture, but back in the days when theaters, cinemas, they buy an A picture, they have to buy like several other B pictures, and Detour is a B picture, but Murder My Sweet and Double Indemnity are also A pictures, so they have more budget, they can have more filming locations, all that good stuff. And Double Indemnity is a movie adapted from a novel written by James Cain, who is a more hardcore novelist than Raymond Chandler, and it is directed by Billy Wilder. Billy Wilder. And this one's probably the better of the three, even though I'm not like mind blown by it or anything. At the end of the day, three of these movies, none of them are all that memorable. But I guess they're still kind of enjoyable in some ways. Double Indemnity is definitely a slower movie, but the suspense, it's there. This movie is the most suspenseful out of the three, and I really enjoy that. There's a plot twist towards the end, as expected, and while everyone knows it's coming, but it's not bad. The revelation scene is not bad. I'll say that much. And there are also some comedic moments, which is pretty rare in a noir movie, but these comedic moments make this movie more realistic. The plot is easier to follow. The lighting and the cinematography is so much more impressive. I think there are a few scenes where it relies heavily on shadows and little gaps of light, and it's really beautifully arranged and composed. The dialogue is not bad at all. There are some really cool lines here and there. And it's cool. The main character is played by Freddie McMurray, who is also a comedic actor. So again, seeing him break typecasting is really cool. I guess this is a strong 7 to a light 8. So, have you seen these movies from the 40s? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate them? Like if you like them, hate if you hate them, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I will review The New Mutants, if I can see it. If not, then I will review the documentary Feels Good Man, and I'm gonna watch an anime movie. I want to watch an anime movie, and it's not gonna be a Miyazaki movie. It's gonna be something else, but it's very popular. And if I can, I will review. I want to watch The Devil All the Time. I really do. That's all. Thanks for watching.